What is going on, everybody? So this is not a normal thing. This is a different channel. I'm gonna do some stuff here that I just want to try, sort of an outlet for it. And I think a lot of times it'll be a little inspiring to me to make videos and stuff. One of the things I want to do is a week after a video comes out, I want to go over the comments, some of the comments, or if there's hundreds of them, it's hard to do that. But we'll go over some of them. And it'll tell me what's going on, in the comments section in a more positive way. And I think that'll be pretty cool. Obviously, I would like you to like and subscribe to this channel. If you don't know our other channel, Dylan Talks Tone, that's the main guitar channel. And so, and Dylan and Leslie is kind of our off-topic channel, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to do some of this stuff. So I'm going to try it. I don't know how, obviously I'd like you to like and subscribe, but it's not as big of a deal as the other channel is. But I might put some rants here. I might put some various other behind the scenes stuff. Just some, I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't really know. I've seen other guys with big channels do way bigger channels than me though. Do like a second channel to just kind of have to be an outlet for some stuff. And so that's kind of what I want to do here. So let's go through last Monday's video, and there's going to be zero. This is literally a webcam. There is going to be zero production to any of this. Where are we at? Why can't I see dates? Well, there's gear news. Oh, our custom shop guitar's worth it. That was July 7th. All right, so we're just going to go through the comments. I'm just going to read them. Exactly. There's a few differences in the wording of custom guitar. Like if Gibson or Fender, a lot of the custom shop guitars aren't specifically made for you. Whereas if you go to a luthier, they are. Not always, though. The made to measure stuff, you can get pretty specific. And I think there's also another sort of misconception with that I think people think that just because it's a luthier that they'll do whatever you want. And they got to stay true to their brand, right? So if you buy a Texas Toast Guitars, he's not going to build you a double cut Challenger just because you want it, because that's not the design, right? So do you get it in your favorite color? Yes. Maybe do you get a custom neck profile? Yes. Do you get some custom stuff? But don't expect, unless you go to somebody who says, look, this is a blank sheet of paper and I'll make you an elephant with strings on it, that kind of luthier, and are willing to pay for that, guitar builder, I should say, then don't expect, you know what I mean? Like that they're just going to do whatever whim. People will say, do you make custom pickups? And I'm like, I basically say no now. Like I'll do some stuff. Hey, do you want a different magnet in this, whatever? But my name is on it. And so I don't want to make something crappy because you thought it was cool. And I'm not saying that you want crappy stuff, but I'm saying sometimes people don't know what they want exactly. And so same thing with guitar building, like, well, this is what I want. And I'm like, well, man, if you do that, you're not going to really like it. So I don't really want to build it for you because I don't want to have that bad impression, Let's see. I've just paid to have my dream guitar made by a luthier that I've done for a few reasons. I've played guitar for long enough to know the specs I want. That's fair. You got to have experience enough to know what you want, and so you don't get crazy stuff. I think this is the most important thing before considering custom built guitar. And second, if I wanted the same guitar made by, say, Fender, or example, it would be 2 years wait at least and cost $5,000. And there's a luthier I'm getting it done for $2,000, supporting a smaller business, and it's a 6-month wait. Yeah, so there's practical things for depending on where you get it, as long as you're getting what you want. That's pretty cool. Can you please do a video on cleaning guitar pickups? I mean, I could. Yeah, we could probably do something about that, or at least address it in an FAQ. I'm at the point where I can finally afford custom guitars. I'm planning a TTG after the one I am currently waiting on. That's rad. That's rad. Nothing wrong with workhorses. Nothing wrong with a nice custom built guitar that's a work of art. I would like to have one someday. Same. I don't have a truly bespoke guitar. The stuff that I have is models that have been modified by the maker, but still within the spec. I've never had anything like truly custom made for myself. Uh, in matters of customization, your laser engraved 52 millimeter humbuckers are very nice. Oh, thanks. So we do a lot of laser engraving and stuff, for those of you that are not familiar. Working with a local luthier to design and produce my custom OM, selecting all the components and features was one of my best guitar experiences. Not that different in cost than a similarly featured Martin, and nowhere near the expense of their custom shop. Yeah, so weigh all those options, right? Love those Chris Reeve knives. Thanks, man. I like Chris Reeve too. Okay, I just caught this. If I ever feel like I deserve this level of gear, I'm going to do it myself anyway. Make a nest and get a heat lamp for some little magnets and wait till they're ready to hatch. I don't really know what that means. Raise them like my own and blah, 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 blah. I don't really understand what this means. So the thing he rambles on about some stuff I don't really understand. But if I ever feel like I deserve this level of gear, I'm going to do it myself anyway. Everyone deserves a nice guitar. If you do not know how to play and you want to go spend 10 grand on a guitar, you deserve it. You worked for that money. You got there. You got yourself into a situation to buy whatever you want to buy. You deserve it. It has nothing to do with ability. It has nothing to do with what people think of you. It has nothing to do with that. If you have the means to get whatever you want, get what you want. That drives me insane when people talk themselves down like that. I hate to see people talk themselves down like they are not good enough for something. If you have the means to do it, you're good enough. Absolutely. Let's see. Great video on this topic. You laid it out better than most. I've seen over the years that I've been building custom guitars. This will be shared with prospective customers in the future. Oh, thanks. Oh, so he makes custom guitars. That's rad. I'm not exactly a buyer of custom guitars, but rather what I'm looking for are small manufacturers, luthiers who offer certain customization options. This is a very realistic take, actually, especially from certain regions of Asia, or certain regions of Eastern Europe, where for affordable prices, they make very modern guitars, but with surprising quality. Okay, so there are not big factory companies in Asia, like local luthiers and stuff, that are doing stuff. I wouldn't do this. This is not my jam. I just feel that, I don't know. I have some Tibetan singing bowls. You can get them really cheap from certain places, but I'd rather pay the money and make sure. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't like exploiting labor costs. It's a thing it's me. It's just me. You can feel how you want, but I just don't like exploiting labor costs. It's just not a thing that I do. Let's see here. Boutique guitars are good options for lefties. Yeah, exactly. I love those Texas Toast guitars. Awesome. Everybody should go buy a Texas Toast guitar. Like right now, just go do it. I can't argue that a custom guitar is not worth it. I believe if you get a good one from a good builder, fair point, it is definitely worth it. I also can't justify for me spending the money that it would cost to own a custom guitar, even though I'm fortunate enough that I could afford one. I'm not a great player. Here we go again with this. Don't do that to yourself. Now, if you're not willing to pay it and you don't want to do it, that's totally fine. But don't do it for this reason. Don't do it for that reason. I want to pump you up, man. I want to pump you up. More an enthusiast, and when I see a custom-built guitar that I might really like to have, I have to consider that guitars in my collection I'd be willing to sell for it. Okay, so I get what you're saying, but don't do that for that reason. I don't think I'm a custom guitar guy. I think custom is to get something you can't get otherwise. I have a custom amp, a Fender Tweed, a Deluxe that's made by a handful of boutique builders, and I paid a local guy to build mine, and a lot of the components are high-end cork-sniffing stuff. I want a nice amp that will last a lifetime and didn't want some mass-produced thing with cheap parts. I get that. I don't think we're in the golden age for amps, but we are for guitar and arguably have been for more than 20 years. I can find the guitar that suits my taste from the mass-produced stuff, and then I'll change what I don't like when I get around to figuring out those things are. I'm not picky. I will say if I had the money, I'd love a custom-made high-end acoustic guitar with cool wood and a tuned top. Okay, this is an interesting comment because he has a custom amp, but the custom guitar is just not as important to him. I'm the opposite. I'd like to have a super fancy guitar, a really super fancy acoustic guitar, a not fancy amp. So yeah, that's cool. I like that a lot. That pink paisley, I want it. Thanks, Dylan. Great video. Well, there you go. We just went through all those comments. Hang on, let me just check. There's a couple more. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, here's another one. I had another button to click. I was torn about commenting on this video mostly because I was trying to suss out whether you are representing boutique guitar builders in general or using this subject to promote one brand here. Overall, I feel you do a good job of differentiating, but you're clearly biased towards a more modest price point. I am not. Which is your prerogative, I guess. I would think that the discussion is more applicable to the $3,000 to $5,000 or more price point and multiples of that. That might not be what folks want to hear, but there you have it. I will say that it was good, and there are choices out there from modest to honey, I sold the car. Yeah, I'm not opposed or biased to against or for any price point. I have guitars that cost as much as a car. I have firearms that cost as much as a car. I have knives that probably cost as much as a cheap motorcycle. I think nice stuff is nice, and I really, really like it. But I think with that video, my idea was to show that there are options for those folks who do not want to or cannot for some reason or don't want to invest small car money into an instrument. And yes, it does limit the customization, the customability, whatever you want to call that, whatever that word is. But yeah, no, that's a cool. I dig what you say there. I get that. I think custom is not a bad thing, but it does not automatically imply an improvement in a function of the object, and it also does not ensure that the investment that has been made for such a customization is recovered. A superficial customization would be that a company that manufactures guitars on an industrial level gives you the choice between varieties. It would be quite another thing to build an instrument completely from scratch. If the one from the industrial company costs you thousands, better one from scratch and really customized. And that's how small manufacturers are maintained. That's why I don't go for super big and expensive, therefore overpriced brands. I don't have to name names, or do I? So that's an interesting one because it really depends what you're into. I think there's a problem, and I guess this is where this channel is going to come in handy. I think there's a problem in the guitar industry where people want to say that everything has to be this functional thing, and it's like, it doesn't have to be. You could buy something just because it's cool, buy something because it's cool. And, if you want a fancy thing on there that costs an extra $1,000 because it's cool, then let yourself get it. I don't think everybody's like, well, that has nothing to do with the tone. No, it doesn't actually. I just think it's cool. Like, be that guy. Like, just think stuff is cool. Be known for the things that you like and that you think are cool. I think that's important. I think that's real important. Okay, I think that was the last one. You guys, this has been super fun. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you in the next video.